on the week, how things are looking, what's going on company wise, and just kind of do a weekly recap. So I'm going to work on doing this a little bit more often, have the video editors get it out and all those things. But this is where we're sitting on all accounts, trade wise. So still not bad. Profit is profit. Obviously, want to get this up a little bit when loss ratio is showing really low here. All in all, still struggling a lot with copy trading services. I barely came green on the day for Thursday, mostly because that flop happened. So it took me, a bit to get back to green, although the original trades called were winning. It just once everything flopped, it was hard to stay back on. And then I had to go account by account. So long story short, this is where we're sitting. I actually did not catch that big drop today, although we did call it, which we're going to talk about here in a second. Fair and square, like we had that marked up a week in advance, which just feels really good, right? It feels really good to know where the market's going. Obviously, had no idea that it was going to happen, but we'll talk more about that here in a second. So this is how we ended on the week, 42,000, which is not bad, seeing how most of the months I've had are ending closer to this, so a lot of the months I've had have ended that way, and that's between all the accounts, right? So overall, looking good, still working on the prop firm stuff. It's still very new to me. Trading your own personal capital a day like today is perfect because, well, obviously you've made your, 3 months, 6 months, a year's worth of income on a day like today in your personal accounts, which just doesn't apply the same to prop firms. So let's talk real quick about the trades. Let me minimize this, actually be smarter with that approach. So what about the trades on the day? We actually did not have a bad week, but did not have a measurably good week by any means. Call on Tuesday, we caught the sell to the downside. Oh, that's actually gold, sorry. Caught a little scalp on gold, only 7 points is what we kind of captured on it before it went up. Baby scalp mostly because of what we were looking at on NQ. So let's go all the way back to Tuesday. Beautiful trade overall. Did not obviously catch the whole move. This moved multiple times our target, which is just incredible. Caught several scalps on the way in, 3 in total. I did take a little bit of a loss on one of these wicks, but otherwise caught this last move down, then caught some of this more down too. So overall, 55 points kind of banked in the actual original trade we called. Wednesday, on the other hand, it's funny because before market open, I knew I was looking for that buy back up into the 50% of yesterday as a minimum target, but it just happened so fast, and ES and YM were diverging. Wasn't comfortable with the buy, so I was smart, sat on my hands. Smart is obviously suspect of a term right now, mostly because this was just a beautiful trade all day, and there were a few opportunities to kind of get long, but by then I was done, right? By then I wasn't trading anymore, and by the end of the day, anybody still buying here was just absolutely crazy. We just broken all-time highs, et cetera, but it's still, we made all-time highs again Wednesday. Thursday came along, and that's Friday. We already know that big drop is Friday. Caught this big sell to the downside. We really knew that this was our target. Cut multiple entries all the way through here, total of 75 points. We moved, gosh, almost twice that on our targets from our entry. Actually, more than twice that, right? So beautiful trade there. And those were all the trades we took in class this week. So kind of a low volume trading week in general, but we were patient, we were disciplined, which is still kind of the name of the game for prop firm wise, right? Is just proving what's possible. So I'm going to start making a couple of videos on the spreadsheets. I've got a lot of feedback. That's what you guys want to see and what's possible. I'm full transparently still working toward my 7-figure goals on the prop firms. It's all very new to me. There's so many things I didn't know, and copy trading is just a whole nother level of mess there. But I will definitely work toward that, particularly with Apex, as you guys know. It's just the easier one to get that done with. Otherwise, I'm sitting nearly 6 figures on payouts this year, which is my first year in features. Given the copy trader problems and the different firms I've tried, that's not bad, right? It's still definitely work to do, but still, we will see. Results wise, month of September, we ended the month with over 1,100 points, which on a day like today does not feel like much, like not at all. And actually, I don't know what I'm thinking, why I stopped there. I have to go back to Friday. Oh my gosh. I put my moves here. I took my Project X trades looking for this buy, caught a little bit of it, and did end up re-entering, got the rest, and I was done. I did not trade anymore. I was done on the day. However, we knew about this target. We knew once we got a little bit lower than that where we were going. We had our daily trend line marked up. And of course, this was our halfway back on the extension from low to high. And all the way down to here, we marked this up on Tuesday of this week. This is literally just 50% of September. If we're looking at key levels, I have to go to a much higher time frame to see this appropriately and probably disable that little box we have. But this was a key level, not only because it was 50% of September, it was 50% of the daily time frame, but also it kind of correlated with this huge amount of areas of interest that we have marked up. We already know how to do that. We have videos on that as well. And we had just broken the previous major high, right? Once we got past here, we already knew where our targets were going to be very clean. This was incredible. Now, obviously, I had no idea we were going to have a 1,200 point, what is that, nearly 4.5% move to the downside on the day. Gosh, I had no way of knowing that, but still beautiful to be able to say, hey, look, we knew where the downside targets were. Now that we've gotten below that trend line we've had open since April on the bigger time frame, of course, we want to retest. We want some kind of confirmation. But if we get back below this level, I'm looking for some more potential to the downside, which is a lot of points. Gosh, in 23, 500s, 22s, from where we're currently at, not even including the pullback, which we're going to wait for. That's already another 500 plus points, possibly another 1,500 plus points. So that's going to give us a sizable retracement. Are we going to get all the way down to here? We'll see. But definitely into those 23.5s, kind of the easy target to kind of come take this next low, as we did just break some major time frame structure. So kind of cool there, but we'll see. Last but not least, our weekly results. We are done. September, we closed out with 1,200 points. It definitely doesn't sound like much after a day like today. In fact, it sounds just beyond obsolete. But this is how we did on the week. Last week, we took a nice one little loss. We did have a week where we had almost all losses. But this is what we've done. We've got, 5 years, more than 5 years worth of a track record. I'd have to go to all time, over 1 million points, which is like 13 million. Well, 1 million pips, so that's over 13 million points. Definitely not a bad way to be. So currently on the week, risking 1% on your personal account, that's a 7% gain to kind of give you an idea. Obviously, you're going to be risking a little less on prop firms, but this is what's sustainable. This is definitely duplicatable. And we've got the track record that says if we just follow this, I know the management in and out is still going to be key, but kind of awesome. Accuracy is still sitting pretty high. I think I'd have to zoom in a little bit. That's 82%. Definitely down from where we were before starting futures. Definitely down from that. But that's kind of goes with the territory when you kind of go from intraday, being able to just see the big picture and then take it. Definitely different ballpark. Keep in mind, the value of this year alone, based off of $10 a point, okay, is over 100,000. Mind you, NQ is $20 a point on one contract. So to give you an idea, and I actually have to redo this so it's not so much geared toward pips anymore, but this is enormous. This is not even including compounding or trading multiple accounts. Like the value of this, figure 5, 10, 15 accounts, is just huge. So overall, that's how we ended on the week. I hope you guys all have a beautiful weekend. Automation is still underway. The update should be pushed out here shortly, and then the developers should have all bugs out, and we should be looking toward our next levels here shortly. Dragonfly automation stuff is going really good, and live classes also really good. So if you have questions, comments, requests, or things that you want to go over, make sure you put it in the chat. As always, like, comment, subscribe, give me your feedback, post to your done for the days and how you did on the week. And I can't wait to see you guys next week. Happy trading, take care, and God bless.